Oh my gosh, it seems like we are never, there's so much information that just keeps coming up with regards to everything you're working on, and we're thrilled to have you once again on the show, or in part of the show. We talked a little bit about the Idaho Innocence Project, and there's so much to talk about. Greg, can you tell everybody where they can go to find out a little more information about it, and then we'll move right into some of this amazing stuff that's right behind me.
Great. Well, if you're interested in the Idaho Innocence Project, you can Google us, Idaho Innocence Project. We have a website at the university, which Google will lead you to. And we also have a page on Facebook. So we'd love to hear from you. We're trying to build a forensic a science center here on the campus, a forensic justice center, and so we are
you're
interested
involved. You're in two departments, right? The biology and then
criminal justice.
Gosh,
so,
you're doubly smart.
I'm doubly learning.
You know what I found really interesting? I met Greg actually at Alive After 5.
Right.
And he was just an average, normal, everyday Joe.
I
And then
aspire to that. Thank you.
Yeah, I found you. And so it's amazing to come in here and listen to him. He rattles. And it's good stuff, you guys. I mean, you are so knowledgeable. Tell me a little bit about, because as I did, as I haven't told anybody in the Treasure Valley, except for I finally came out on Facebook, that about the possibility of me having breast cancer.
And you just told me. I mean, I just learned as we were
as
speaking.
everybody else did. Thank you very much for allowing me to share. But right behind me, we've got cancer cells.
Yes.
And you're doing a little bit of work on that. So
we are. Dr. Abdelkrim Alelesh is a MD, PhD
God bless you.
in my laboratory. We call him Krim. and he's a wonderful scientist, one of the most hardworking and brilliant people I've worked with. So I'm fortunate he's here in the lab with me. And he is heading up our cancer project right now. And so we look at breast cancer, prostate cancer, leukemia, and melanoma.
That's
right
a
now.
lot.
Yeah, and these are some of the cells here. These have been killed, and they're.
Oh, thank goodness! I was so scared of knocking him over and landing on myself.
Yeah, no. These are all ones that have expired that we're just reading the results from.
Oh, okay.
But still, don't touch them or eat them.
I won't. No.
So the idea is that I have pioneered this study of sequences that don't exist in nature, the smallest possible.
The nullimers.
Sequence.
That's what we were talking about.
And so if sequences were efficient, just like if language was efficient, they would be used in a very predictable manner. But they're not predictable in many ways. And just like in the English language, if I want to see the smallest things that don't exist as words, well, A is a word,
We've got that.
But you have to go all the way to I to get the next one. So there are these missing sequences in a dictionary if you're looking for words. And so we do that by downloading all of the DNA and protein sequences publicly available every month. And Tim Anderson, who is in computer science.
And can they find that at BSU too? I mean, if they wanted information about those sequences?
Oh, yeah. And they can, and you can come to the university and take classes and then maybe work in
Go figure
lab.
what? Learn about it here at BSU? That's crazy.
Oh, it's lovely.
And
So anyway, so Tim finds these sequences every month. And when we search for proteins, there are 20 amino acids.
Okay.
So some very simple math. When you have 5 amino acids in a row, you're starting to build a protein.
Okay.
And most proteins are probably 100, 200 amino acids. But we found that within all of those proteins, if you scan them all, there are some sequences, 5 long, that have never been seen in nature. So because there's 20 amino acids, that's 20 times 20 times 20 times 20 times 20.
That's a lot.
It's 3,200,000.
To be exact.
I just memorize it. I can't do math in my head. And so we found there were 198 of them that were never seen out of these 3,200,000. If you look all the way up and down
every protein. That's like finding a needle in a haystack, Greg.
Or as someone once said, it's the needle that doesn't exist in the haystack because it's a nullimer.
This
you have
guy.
to think backwards about everything I do. So at 5, we found those 198. And in my lab, Abdelkrim Alelesh and Jada Goswami, who was in the lab at the time, got those proteins and exposed cancer cells to them.
Oh my gosh.
With the idea that maybe nature has a hard time with these sequences and when they come up, they're just selected against. So we've turned them into drugs. We just published that this month, and it's getting a lot of international attention. New scientists.
Last month, Treasure Valley, and we're finding out about it right here.
And if you go to my website, so if you just Google me, it's Greg Hampikian, and I think you'll put that up.
We
and
sure
spell.
will. So yeah.
The first site I think that comes up is the university site, which has a link to all these articles. If you're interested in science, go look at them. There's some articles written by popular science magazines about what we do, and then there's also the original papers, and that's the most important thing, these peer-reviewed papers. So anyway,
Well, you know what, though? We are
Yeah.
going to have to come back because we could talk, clearly.
Yeah. But anyway, the good news
forever.
is they kill cancer, and
And it's stuff that's not found in nature
Right.
that actually is killing stuff that nature has somehow managed to create in our bodies, or maybe
Yes.
not so much. That's another question. You know, thank you, Dr. Hampikian, Greg, and we will continue on with these segments with him here in the future, so you've got to keep watching Treasure Valley View. We'll be right back after these commercial breaks. Thank you so
Thanks.
much.